For taking the time to speak with us. We do now move over to the Middle East, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told US President Donald Trump that he nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize, handing Trump a nomination letter during a meeting at the White House. Speaking to reporters at the beginning of a dinner between US and Israeli officials, Netanyahu said the United States and Israel were working on other countries who would give Palestinians a better future, suggesting that the residents of Gaza could move to neighbouring nations. Netanyahu called Trump's vision a free choice, where Palestinians could remain where they are or relocate if they wished. He noted that Israel was actively working closely with the United States to identify countries willing to help give Palestinians a better future. He also said that they are getting close to finding several such countries. Let's have a listen in to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I want to express the appreciation and admiration not only of all Israelis, but of the Jewish people and many, many admirers around the world for your leadership of the free world, your leadership of a just cause, and the pursuit of peace and security, which you are leading in many lands, but now especially in the Middle East. We have great opportunities. The President has an extraordinary team, and I think our teams together make an extraordinary combination to meet challenges and seize opportunities. But the President has already realized great opportunities. He forged the Abraham Accords. He's forging peace as we speak in one country and one region after the other. So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well deserved.
Well, meanwhile, pro-Palestinian demonstrators gathered outside the White House to demand an end to the conflict in Gaza as Trump met with the Israeli Prime Minister. They held signs demanding an end to arms supplies to Israel and condemning alleged genocide. Some also called for Netanyahu's arrest, referencing the International Criminal Court's warrant for his arrest over alleged war crimes in Gaza. Well, joining us to discuss these developments, Professor Rohan Gunaratne, an international security expert who's joining us from Singapore. Professor Gunaratne, as always, thank you ever so much for being here with us. There's lots for us, of course, to unpack after this meeting between Benjamin Netanyahu and President Donald Trump. But let's first look at what we opened that read with, talking about that Nobel Peace Prize nomination. Trump dropped bunker-busting bombs on Iran. Trump has struck the Houthis. Yes, he says that he's working towards stabilising the region, but is US intervention actually making it worse?
Without the US intervention, the nuclear capabilities that Iran was developing could not have been dismantled because the Israeli capabilities were not able to strike the facilities. What is important to understand is that the Israel-Iran war, without that intervention on the part of the US, would not have reached the objective of denuclearizing, or at least buying some months or some years of Iran moving towards a functional nuclear weapon.
Let's look now at the situation in Gaza. Of course, protests outside of the White House after this meeting, growing calls from members of the public in different countries, but also world leaders. Do you think there is more international pressure now on Israel to strike a deal? And how will this conversation with Trump impact that and get that moving forward?
President Trump is determined to have a ceasefire in Gaza. Of course, President Trump has now been nominated by a number of leaders and governments for the Nobel Peace Prize. So he is personally very determined to move in that direction. But the reality of the Gaza situation is that Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, they are holding nearly 50 Israeli hostages. And it will take a lot of effort on the part of Qatar, Egypt, and also the United States to have a resolution to the conflict in Gaza. Is Hamas willing to disarm? Are they willing to surrender? And mostly, are they willing to release those hostages? So these are the three main questions that will be addressed in the coming hours in the United States and also in the Middle East.
Yes, Rohan Gunaratne. If you stay with us, we are going to look now at those talks that are taking place. US President Donald